Ooh, excuse me. There. Well, good morning. It's another day. Made some good progress. Pretty much this section is all done. What I have is this last little section where I am right now. Between my legs is a big hole, looks down all the way down the stairs. And what I need to do is I need to install a vent. So this vent is going to suck the air from the top of the stairwell, run it around and take it into our water heater. So I need to fill in the hole to make it the size of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically take a piece of wood underneath, and I'm going to cut a circle out the same size of what the hole that exists there roughly. Put this on it, and then take a bolt and some other kind of stuff on the top here, and put that through like that. And then I'm going to pull it up and pull flush and tight to the surface underneath. And I'm going to pour a bunch of that MAP stuff, which is that bonding kind of adhesive plaster stuff. And then that should secure it in there. I mean, there's not going to be no pressure on it, no bump or anything, so it's fine. And then basically I'll run the hose from that when it dries. And then just remove the bolt and kind of hit it down. And hopefully it will, be there. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, I'm going to put a bit of cardboard in there just to make the difference up. And then that'll let me go to, when I want to plaster, it'll give a little bit of space so I can put a kind of a thin coat of plaster, kind of blend it in with the surrounding plaster that's up there. I mean, that's way down the line, but for now, the MAP will be good. It'll be nice and sturdy. So yeah, I guess let's get on to that and see how it works. I'll, of course, put some plastic and stuff in case it drips, but it shouldn't drip. One of the famous last words. But yeah, let's get to it. I'm going to start working on that now, and we'll see how this works. It doesn't have to be tidy from this side, and then after that's all kind of set up, hopefully by tomorrow, I can return, and then I can run the pipe and the insulated hose that's going to go inside the pipe and connect it all up on the other side, and then I can insulate over here and be done, and then I can start working on the next sections. Getting close. At least all the worst stuff is done. Like this section here where that was just brutal. In here is like, feels like I'm in a barn right now. There's so much space, but compared to that other section. But yeah, I'm at least through the worst of it. I've looked on the camera, the heat camera, and you can see exactly where I've missed stuff. So there's a little teeny section on the wall that faces this way below the camera that's in the hallway, and you can actually see the little section of it that's missing. It's cold there, and you can tell exactly up here where the insulation stops and where it pokes through the roof. Everything else is kind of a nice light green, maybe even a little bit yellow. I wouldn't say too much more than that right now, but at least it's not that dark blue, which indicates it's really cold. So we're definitely going to see a difference with this. One thing you may ask is, why didn't I use like polystyrene or like the foam board over like on this? One thing you have to think about is fires. So it's not fire rated, whereas this, if I were to put foam board here, you technically need to put like drywall, or what do you call it? Drywall basically over it, or kind of do a render over top of it to make it fireproof. So I didn't want to be in here trying to render stuff and make things fireproof. The wire things work quite well. There's not much like sinking at this point that I've seen. I'm going to come up in a few weeks when I come back from Christmas and see how it goes. Hopefully it has a slouch down. If not, I just add more wires, right? But yeah, that's the main reason why I did it. And it's also, we had some extra. When I measured, I kind of left areas thinking, at least where the eaves are, where we get too small to put in another 200. I already expected to have extra, so I was using it up for this. It's working well. I'm going to cheat a little bit with the styrofoam boards. What I'm going to do in the top of the hatches, each hatch I'm going to kind of make a plug. So I'll cut the styrofoam board, stick it up, and then close the door. But over top of that hatch, I'll fold over, before I put the plug in, I'll fold over some of this rock wool. If anyone ever has a problem with it, then come talk to me, but it's fine. It'll be, realistically, even if the whole roof caught on fire, this doesn't burn. So that would help a lot. for any kind of fire issues. We're not likely to get a fire, but you never know, right? The world's changing. Things are getting hotter, colder, whatever. So yeah, anyways, let's get to it. See how this little project works. Hopefully it doesn't just all run down, 3 flights of stairs and I have to clean it all up, but well, it should be okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole in this. I'm going to put this bolt through it and then see if I can put a little string or something on it and pull it up through this. I'm going to lower this string through from this side and then pull it up tight as I can get. And then I'm going to trace out this cardboard. This cardboard on the side's got a bit of a gloss on it, which is why I used it. And then I'll cut it tight as I can to wherever this marks out with a pencil, and then take it down, and then put it back up again, and then basically I'm ready to pour and secure it up here. I don't know if I can tie it anywhere up here, or I might make a little brace across that pulls it. I don't know yet. We'll figure that out later. But the idea is I want to kind of embed this into it. So this is going to get a dumping of that map stuff around it and kind of get encased in it, and then I'll make a kind of an inch or so layer or whatever on top, looking like a mound around the edge of this on top of the lathe and plaster, and hopefully that will be enough to support it all and keep it nice and tight. All right, let's get to it. one thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of this leftover matte mortar from working on the vent up there. Just kind of jam it in the corner here. This wall is like fairly stable, but there's a obvious crack that goes up. It'll help kind of bind it together, and you know, it's in the cupboard, so I'm not going to do too fussy of a job. But yeah, let's just stick it together a little better than it is, and got extra, why not use it there before I dump it down into a garbage bag or something. So let's get to that. Well, I got some more holes on this wall over here, so I think I'll just fill those in as much as I can. Well, I've made myself a little batch of mortar, and what I'm going to do just on the side while I'm waiting for my the hole for the vent to dry for today. I've got a couple hours left, so I thought what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in some of these holes in this area. I'm not going to probably fill in, there's a big guy down here, near the toilet. I'm probably not going to do that today. And there's the one here that I still need access to when I put it in the sink and when I put in, you know, if we ever get a bar section going here and stuff like that. I'm going to leave one of them going, but if I have time, another day, maybe I'll go in here and I'll patch that one hole up. But for now, let's just do some of these kind of easy holes to fill. Well, it's the next day. We're going to be pulling that form off from the ceiling where that little hole is. Hopefully I can just kind of unloosen it and it'll drop down. It looks like all the map mortar is solid, so we'll see how that goes. And if that goes, then I can continue on with the hose and the pipe today and get that portion insulated and all in. Let's see how it goes. Fingers crossed it works. That worked very well. Yeah, really solid. Well, that's cool. It's nice some things work. Oh. What do you know? That actually worked really well. The hole up there looks pretty good shape. Or that, if I ever have to do that again. Nice. Sometimes it doesn't always work. This one was easy. So now let's get on to finish getting the pipe and the hose through across this, down, and then into the area with the collector for the VMC water heater things. Alright, well, I'm at this section over here, which was the previous tight section, and where I punched the two holes through. So this is what I want to do with these pipes here, is I want to take pipe and use it kind of to protect this flexible insulated hose stuff for the vent. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, feed through up here the hose, and that'll connect with the stuff that's on the top of the stairwell, and then go into that. And then I'm just going to use these pipes really to protect it. I'm not going to glue them or anything like that. They're just going to kind of sit there. I'm going to tie them down somehow, either with zip ties and a thing to the joist, or maybe a piece of wire or something. I'm not sure yet. And then, yeah, then that way I can put as much insulation on top as I want. They won't get crushed. If I'm walking up here, someone steps on them, they're not going to wreck anything. Yeah, it should just make sure things don't, I mean, they do have like a wire spiral in them, but I don't know. I'd rather just make sure they're okay. Anyway, so that's the plan. I'm going to run a pipe. I'm going to measure from here on an angle up to this section here where I've popped a hole in. It's got to kind of sneak under a joist where there won't be pipe, but it should be protected under there. And then connect it with the other side. So let's do that. Let's measure what we got. Too long because it's going to Well, good morning. It's another day. What I'm doing today, I've got my pipe all in. It's looking pretty good. It runs to the vent thing, the collector over where the water heater is all the way around, and then out to the top of the stairwell. Looks like it's sucking well. I can hear the little fan going and stuff. It's very quiet. It looks to be doing good. What I need to do next is I'm going to secure this. Now, I'm not being too fussy about it. I just want it in case, because I'm going to put insulation on top of it, and I'm going to basically, when I go to pull wires through and stuff in the future, I don't want to be kicking it and then maybe whatever. I'm just going to secure it down a little bit. So what I have is a couple little strips of wood. I put little, I guess called them fasteners, things you screw into the wood, and then I'm going to take a twist tie, like this here, a couple, not twist tie, zip ties, and then just basically wrap it around the pipe, tighten her up. It's good enough. It's just to stop it kind of getting kicked or bumped around. So anyways, let's get on to that. I'm going to get all this section done, and then the other section, and there's another section over there, and then basically that's it. And then I can start doing the final insulation in here and hopefully get it all done before Christmas. Let's get to it.